Elon Musk is Rupert Murdoch on steroids. Elon Musk is operating at such a high level compared to Rupert Murdoch, a totally different league. Firstly, Elon Musk has 85 million Twitter followers himself, a channel directly talking to tens of millions of people. He can directly get in newspapers, on the television. He can play the media environment in a way reminiscent of Donald Trump through tweets. Secondly, he's extraordinarily rich in a way that Murdoch never was. Murdoch is a billionaire, but he was never amongst the world's wealthiest people. Rupert Murdoch made his money from the media. Elon Musk has made his money in other industries. Newspaper owners like Murdoch love to think they can make or break politicians. Elon Musk may have the opportunity to give a platform back to the next president of the United States of America on a social media network with 300 million monthly users. There's no speculation there. There's no, well, my view is the media played a major role. He would be giving a megaphone to one of the world's most powerful figures, and it's entirely down to him. I think in terms of brute force and power, that's a level of authority that Rupert Murdoch never, ever had. In terms of deal making and what Elon Musk is presently doing with Twitter, Elon Musk is Rupert Murdoch on steroids. This was the world's wealthiest man wanting to buy not just a media outlet, or a newspaper, or a TV channel, but a social network with 300 million monthly users. It is far and above anything else we've seen in terms of deal making by the global 1%. I think in many ways it is the most impressive deal, if it goes through, in history. The purchase of a social media network by the world's wealthiest person, who, by the way, is the CEO of Tesla, but he's also the CEO of SpaceX. Twitter and SpaceX are both private companies controlled by the same guy. 20 years ago, this would have been a joke. A social media company and a space transportation company owned by the same billionaire, worth $250 billion US. But that's the world we now live in. In a capitalist society, money is power. What we've seen over the last 25 years is a rapid and historic concentration of money in the global 1%. And that concentration of money therefore represents a concentration of power. Elon Musk is worth $260 billion US. He can't give that money away quickly enough. In 2020, Elon Musk made $18 million an hour. So if you're a charity, you said, Mr. Musk, let's sit down for half an hour. Will you give me $5 million? No. During that conversation, he just made $9 million. They literally can't give it away quickly enough. Now, this has huge implications for a free society because he just spent $44 billion on Twitter, okay? Half of that is from other people, but $1 billion US would remake the US media landscape. If you gave socialists and trade unions and working people $1 billion to spend on media in the United States, it would transform the public conversation. This guy's worth $260 billion. When somebody has that much money and therefore that much power, it necessarily undermines the power of the rest of us. You have Jeff Bezos, worth $180 billion US. He has the Washington Post. You've got other billionaires like John Henry has the Boston Globe. Carlos Slim, one of the wealthiest people in the world, has the largest share in New York Times. They do this to give themselves even greater power. So you have a process where the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world invest in accumulating yet more power. This is necessarily to the detriment of the rest of us. This is necessarily undermining, limiting the rest of us to influence society in our rational self-interest. So free speech for billionaires equates to limited or no speech for the 99%. Right now we have a media in print, in broadcast, which is directly reflecting their interests and nobody else's. In the UK, if you pick up a newspaper, it's highly likely that it's controlled or owned by billionaires. Lord Rothermere with the Mail, the Barclay brothers with the Telegraph, the Sun and Rupert Murdoch. The Sun is not a business interest. The Sun newspaper has been losing money for a long time. Rupert Murdoch doesn't own it to make money. He owns it in order to exert political influence and help determine what prime minister we have in this country. These are playthings for 1%, and they shouldn't be doing that. They should be acting in the public interest and informing us about the various decisions that we should be making together in a democracy. People who think it's legitimate for billionaires to own newspapers and TV channels and social media networks fundamentally can't believe in democracy. Because in a democracy, a single individual doesn't have that much power over the public conversation and, importantly, the public imagination. Every billionaire is a policy failure. But I think some billionaires are worse than others. So Elon Musk is worth $260 billion. I think he's done bad things, and I think most people would agree that the worst thing he's done is not put his wealth to better use. But there are worse people out there. The Saudi royal family, Peter Thiel, the Koch brothers. I mean, these are people, the Koch brothers, who over decades have undermined the democratic process and workers' rights in America. It's been their full-time job. Or Rupert Murdoch. If you're looking for a bad guy, a villain, most responsible for the global north failing to address climate change since the 1970s, one individual, it would be Rupert Murdoch. So Elon Musk is far from perfect, but if I had to pick a bad guy billionaire out there who's been a net negative for the human species, believe me, he's nowhere near the top. It's hard to make sense of Elon Musk and why he does things. Firstly, he says he's committed to the truth. He said he studied physics because it was solid, it wasn't about opinion, it was either right or wrong. For him, it's the same with free speech. People shouldn't be subject to not having a platform because of what they're saying. Either what they say is right or what they're saying is wrong, and you can't test that unless they're allowed to say what they think. So I think that's partly it. There's another part to it, less noble, let's say, and by the way, the free speech thing is far more complicated than he lets on, which I think is political. Tesla is the world's most valuable manufacturer of cars in the world. Joe Biden, as Democratic president, has had a very close relationship to the Detroit car makers, General Motors and Chrysler. Very close. The Democrats have generally. Remember that Barack Obama bailed them out. These are big unionized workplaces, key states for the Democratic Party, blue collar, working Americans. That is their base, particularly for Biden, who appreciates this, right? Now, Elon Musk is thinking, well, I'm leading on decarbonization. I'm the guy who's in charge of the most influential electric vehicle company. And in any conversation about electric cars in the United States, Joe Biden's talking about General Motors and Chrysler.
And that Hummer's one hell of a vehicle, man. Yo, you electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led.
Now, this got so bad that earlier this year in January, Elon Musk tweeted that Joe Biden was a damp sock puppet in human form. So it's fair to say there's a breakdown in relations between Joe Biden, the Oval Office, the Democratic presidency, and Elon Musk. And I think for Elon Musk, he thinks, well, if I can buy Twitter, and if I can allow Trump to come back on, or whoever for that matter, the Democrats have to take me seriously. Joe Biden has to take me seriously. In fact, everybody in American politics and civil society has to take me seriously. This is somebody who is involved in space transportation, with Tesla, with the Boring Company. He wants these all to be huge trillion-dollar companies. To do that, you need massive political influence. There's no better way of getting political influence than owning a social media network. Owning a newspaper or a TV station, by comparison, is child's play. There's a reason why Elon Musk has just bought Twitter. There's a reason why Rupert Murdoch owns The Sun. These people want media which advances their interests. Now, the only way we can build a society where working people have politics in their interests is by having media outlets of our own. Double Down News has done extraordinary work in the last few years on a shoestring. I can't recommend them enough. Support them on their Patreon.